Hello and welcome to today's historic best of 3 gameplay and deck tech video on Cats and Dogs, or Cat Dog Tribal. Cat Dog Tribal came from a little innocuous little card of Rin and Seri Inseparable, basically a cat and dog payoff with some very pretty art. And when I saw this card I thought, okay, there's no way this card's good and not Commander, but I still wanted to try. And this is my attempt to make Rin and Seri work as best as I could. We are a base cat deck with cards like Pride Sovereign and Feline Sovereign, King of the Pride, Regal Caracal, just generically good cats where we can find them, and admittedly the only noticeable or remotely good dogs in the format in Pack Leader. Now, also, I suppose technically in the realm of both tribes, Realm Walker does count as both. A thing to notice, or to pay attention to, that when I first built the deck, but eventually learned, Realm Walker is a changeling and is therefore, like it says, is every creature type regardless. The only thing that matters when you name a type is the type of creatures you can cast off of the top. So you can always cast Realm Walker basically naming cats, or the first Realm Walker naming cats, and still it'd be considered both a cat for things like your cat lords and your pack leaders for dog lords. Pretty goddamn useful. Rest of the deck, I mean, Collected Company, as most of the deck is Collected Company hits, and I know you beautiful comments on the internet that if I'm running a green deck that doesn't have Collected Company, some people will proceed to shit their pants. And it's so frustrating. But at least in this deck, Collected Company actually makes sense. You can generate very large boards. All of our deck starts at 2 mana anyway, so it's not the biggest thing in the world, and a lot of the deck is at 3 mana. Admittedly, we have 4 things that aren't hits, but these are good enough that we're okay with diluting the hits. And also, there's not much better cats than this you can get. In the other form of card draw, we have Harmonize, which is the only just flat, hey, I draw cards that I can think of that's relatively good. Yeah, red gives you the impulse card draw. White doesn't have fucking any card draw, especially card draw that's applicable to cat and dog tribal. And green is the only one where you're going to get really good card draw. And Harmonize is the only one that gives you just flat card draw that's reliable. Every other one is weird and you have to jump through a lot of hoops. I like Harmonize. It might not be the best, and I'm certain that you at home have different solutions, but I hope my explanation will sort of save me from your ire. Rest of the land base, relatively simple. Have some of the triomes, some shock lands, and some pathways. Since we are primarily a green-white base deck, we sort of only splash a baby bit for red. Utility lands, a single seat of the Empire for some removal, a couple of Bo3s for some just disruption of weird side cards, and Ramunap Ruins, which is a way to sort of both be your red source and turn into extra damage. Sideboard, relatively self-explanatory, all more or less silver bullet cards. Cindervine for non-creatures, can also hit on artifacts and enchantments. Settle the Wreckage is a sweeper we can run in an aggro deck that doesn't totally bork our board as well. Chandra the Awakened Inferno is usually a uncounterable spell to give you extra staying power against control decks where you transition to something akin to a little bit mid-rangey with cards like this. Rest in Pieces for Graveyard Hate. Rampaging Ferocidon is also a Collected Company hit, and Hose's life gain decks, which are very popular, and the occasional 1 in 20 odd elf decks that you might run into here and there. Prowling Serpapod, another, if you're card to bring in that is both a Collected Company hit, and in this case a cat, which is super important for our deck, as well as allows you to basically cast all your creature spells and not have them be countered. For the occasional control base or blue tempo deck, Prowling Serpapod is pretty useful. Night of Autumn is almost always artifact and enchantment hate, but if you're going against a particularly aggressive deck and you feel like you need some buffer to your life total, you can also use it to just gain life. And as we talked about with the Ferocity, all these ladder hits are Collected Company applicable. So there's that nice little bit of synergy. Though when you do bring these in, sometimes you have to cut some of the cat payoffs. And to be honest, Pride Sovereign's probably the weakest one. So you'll see me cut Pride Sovereign a lot. If we have to delude our cat game plan too much, it's usually what has to go. That is the deck tech. Just wanted to take a moment to remind you to like the video if you liked it, and sub if you like my content. It helps me out, and basically tells me you like what I'm doing, so I know to make more of that thing. Now with that out of the way, we'll go into game number 1. And game number 1 with our Cat Dog Tribal. Opponent does go first. See what they're doing. Admittedly, the game it did take me almost the full 2 minutes to find what we needed. This is a 1-lander, so we're going to throw that back because we're not an idiot. As soon as the game will let me. You would like at least a 2... I mean, as usual with any Magic hand, ideally is like 3 land, 3 non-land. But if you get a 2-lander and like things to play, for the most part, you're pretty happy. For instance, this isn't a fantastic hand, it has to be said, but it's like, okay. We'll get rid of Harmonize, as it requires 2 green, and we don't even have the first green source. This technically gives us a turn 2 play, and we do have 2 pack leaders now, so we have something to do with our early turns. Opponent is on Rakdos something. Plays a Croxa. Is my game melting? Pride Sovereign's the weakest. It's okay to get rid of that. I mean, OBS didn't say my game's melting, but alright. Go ahead and play our first pack leader. Our plan pretty largely remains the same. If they make us discard something again, well, that's not great. Almost certainly takes the other pack leader, which is fucking annoying. I'm sorry, what? Why? I mean, I get it, Collected Company sucks, but it's like not that big of a deal. So we just play our second pack leader. Go a little bit more aggressive. I would argue in that circumstance it's actually right to take the only card I can play in the hand. Because now I mean, unless I draw a green source, I'm just going to sit here and do nothing and attack with my pack leaders. Since I do have sort of self-synergy. Oy, oy, oy. Admittedly, they die to, like, loads of things. Not fantastic, it has to be said. Let's see what our opponent does. Okay, so just playing some sort of generic dosy good stuff, which is fine. Okay. Go ahead and play your land tap, since we don't have anything to do. Anyway. Okay, sometimes you just don't get lucky and draw a green source, which is like a little bit unfortunate. We'll go ahead and play it out. It is to be said that I could take away some more of the red sources and bring in more green sources, but to be entirely frank, I already have the best the best green and white lands I can get. I have all the pathways I own, and all of the temple gardens I own. So this is more of an issue of budget sort of fucking me. And also sometimes you just lose to, oh good! Sometimes you just kind of lose to variance. And I'm not going to be too terribly butthurt. Our opponent's playing totally legit, totally fair. Nothing particularly wrong. But we'll go ahead. They clearly have lethal, so we're just going to go ahead and concede. And remember that sometimes variance happens, and it's largely okay. Let's see what we're going to do. I honestly think it just might be Rest in Peace and some Cinder Vines. Pride Sovereign, again, is not really the strongest card here. So we're going to cut a couple Pride Sovereigns and go down maybe a Collected Company. And yeah, probably. We'll go. Yeah, we'll go down to the Collected Company. We're diluting our Collected Company hits, so it's kind of counterproductive to keep all of our Collected Companies. If we were going to swap out Cocoa hits for Cocoa hits, then you wouldn't really need to dilute the... you wouldn't need to pull the companies out, since we are taking away and not putting back in. It's painful, but it is honestly probably the correct thing. It's a 2-lander. I have all my colors. I want to keep this, and hopefully we don't get punished again too terribly hard. And of course, due to the magic of editing, if this goes particularly fucking sideways, I can always cut it out of the video! And do a different game one. See what our opponents doing. If they're even here at all. Okay. Thank God we didn't get punished. Honestly, pretty safe opener, it has to be said. They could Thoughtseize away, or we'll say, make me discard basically anything in the hand, and it doesn't super matter. On the whole, we're largely kind of okay. This might seem silly, but I'm actually going to Rest in Peace now. I suppose they could have the black... what is that fucking card named from Zendikar? The Enchantment of Hate thing that... in black, whose name I can't remember. They could have that, but I didn't show any enchantments in the main deck that they're aware of. So it'd be weird, but not, I suppose, impossible for them to run it. The real question is... again, Pride Sovereign's the weakest in the vacuum, but they do lose their Croxa right away. We'll go Pride Sovereign. It can't block the Skyclave Shade yet, but it's about all we can really hope for. We do have the 2 white sources for Regal's Caracol if we actually get there. Okay, that hurts, but at least now I know it wouldn't have mattered what I played, it was going to die regardless. If they take a Cocoa, to be fair, now taking a Cocoa is the correct thing. I think, honestly, I don't like it, but if they attack, I think we need to take the trade. We're once again stumbling on lands, and I think this has 24, 25 lands, as well as the Tycoons, the Black Market Tycoons, whatever that new cat is called. Almost certainly the king gets destroyed this turn. There's like no way in hell it lives. Go on. We both know you have it. Just, come on. Come on. Oh, that's totally the wrong play. What? No. What? I mean, okay, I would view that as the wrong play. Your mileage will vary. And sometimes you just don't hit a land drop. How many land there? Okay, did I dilute the land count in this deck? I thought it was at like 24 or 25. I could be wrong, to be fair. That's a thing I can play. Pretty much always gets named on cats as a general rule. Oh, that's real useful. If they attack with the Pyromancer, we have to take the trade. again, they have brain in their skulls. And we're just getting particularly unlucky. We die almost immediately. What in the hell are we missing? I'm almost certain that I had, like, sufficient lands. Like, a good amount of lands. I could be wrong, I guess. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Nexus is a good card for this deck, it has to be said.
My goons will make quick work of you.
Jesus fucking Christ. Caracol's too far away. Get out of there. Okay, they clearly have won since they just uptick twice. 2, 4, 6, 7. We just die, so we're just gonna quit. I'm gonna, for the sake of this video, I'm gonna see really quickly how many lands I have in this deck. It's like not fantastic, because I'm almost certain that I have like an appropriate amount of lands. And if you happen to see the laundry list of shit I have in tank, that's fine. I don't really care that much. How many fucking lands do we have? We have 25 lands! We have 25 lands and 3 black market tycoons! What the fuck? That's brutal! Okay, yeah, I guess... Hang on, yeah. Let me actually also... Since the games were already tremendously short anyway. I wanted to show you that I don't really have that many rare wild cards, and they're pretty important as a commodity, so I can't afford to just piss them away. I do have 4 Sun Petal Groves, but there's not that many basics, honestly. Like, well, I could cut them, and it's like not an awful idea, but it's one of those like what are you gonna do? Like, I don't know if I've done anything like particularly or terribly wrong there. But you know what? Hang on, we'll cut 1 and go to a forest. It's not the most fantastic, and for reference, I usually don't get this unlucky when I was in the 2 weeks of testing I spend with all my decks. For the most part, that's a rare anomaly of getting particularly screwed. But we'll keep that game in and go on to game number 2. And game number 2 with our Cat Dog Tribal. Go ahead and play first because we have a brain. Okay, we'll take 4 lands and 3 spells. It's not like the most interesting thing in the world, but it does give us a turn 3. Collect a company, provided we manage to keep it. Alright, so going against some sort of Soul Sistery's life gain. I fucked that up so bad. I saw life gain and my eyes glazed over. Fuck. It's fine, it's whatever, I guess. It's cool. Wait, what? Okay. Hang on. Be smart, Max. Don't fuck this up again. I do apologize, but yeah. Life gain is one of those decks now that when I see it, my eyes just kind of glaze over. And the lights turn out and things stop functioning. I don't think... That's a good question. We're gonna... Well, yeah, we'll go ahead and block that. It's not great. I'm not over the moon about that, it has to be said. We'll Besage you here, why not? Go ahead and attack with a Bronzehide. If he blocks with the voice, yeah, he shouldn't block the voice. This game doesn't particularly go well for us, it has to be said. That's a weird... Why is that in there? Okay. Whatever. go and click the company, see if we can manage to pop it here. Go ahead, I guess, get... Yeah, we'll get a bronze tie in this Sovereign. Sovereign can block the Voice of the Blessed and take it out. Always nice to use a Collected Company as a combat check sometimes. Has to be said. We'll go ahead and Jetmir's Garden and play King of Pride. And just try and close this game out quick before our opponent can do too much goofy shit. Or they can just let it through. Okay, that's fine. Well, that's pretty useful to show that the deck does kind of work. It does make... it's functional. Let's word it like that. I do want to show also, for the sake of this, I only have 25 hits. It's not ideal for Collected Company. You should probably have more, but again, I maintain the fact that if I didn't have it, every comment section that I have access to on the internet will give me endless amounts of shit, and I really don't want to deal with all that noise. With that out of the way, Ferocidon in, maybe Night of Autumn in? Question is, what do we cut? Armorize is cool. Rin and Seri's okay, so we can cut down on that. The Caracals aren't fantastic. Guess... no, we kind of need that. Lion Sash is honestly... it's not that relevant. But I think that's a pretty safe sideboarding strategy. I mean, we'll see if it goes sideways. The Knight of Autumn might be a questionable choice, but between the Cleric class and the... I guess Johnny's Welcome, that one white mana enchantment that when a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life. Whatever that card is, whose name I can't think of. It is good against that also, and it's more relevant than you'd imagine. And they were playing a blue-white version, and I don't think blue-white has an equivalent of Scurry Oak for some goofy combo shit. This is a bad land. This is a bad hand, so we'll go ahead and throw that back. That's better. Not by much. Maybe we go throw back a King of the Pride. Maybe draw a red source and not fuck it up this time. And actually, there we go. And play this thing on curve properly. Okay, enter tapped. Then we will Sacred Foundry untapped. Play the Tycoon. This turn, if we... so this way, if we draw a Collected Company, we can correctly this time, hopefully, play it on curve like we want to. This is a... oh, okay. Alright, I applaud your commitment to a bit. You're not going to like me when I kill it. But that's... honestly, that's a long way away. We're kind of okay here. I think we can take a turn off to play our garden here, and then we'll just play a pack leader. Might as well create a big board while we have the free space to do so, for the most part. I would like to maybe get around to tinkering with the Halo Fountain deck. I will try to eventually get to dealing or doing most what's the word? Most alternate win cons, or make lose cons, however you want to word them. I will eventually probably get around to doing most. Of course, no promises, you never know, all that kind of shit. See what our opponent does. You do kind of need creatures to make Halo Fountain to work at all, even if it's the first two abilities of the fountain. 15 untap 15 tapped creatures you control. Okay, he had a Wrath of God. I was too busy examining his cards. We'll go ahead and Pride Sovereign this turn, so we can just name a Realm Walker next turn and maybe find some stuff off the top. Who terribly knows? Why are there no... Okay. I applaud, as a fellow tinkerer and brewer myself, as I like to think of myself, in terms of, like, games, I applaud your Halo fountain. I sincerely do. Don't think it's good, however. I think we're gonna go ahead and Pride Sovereign into the Ajani. If he blocks it, we'll collect a company as a combat trick. It's not fantastic, it has to be said. Another Pride Sovereign and a Realm Walker, so we at least got to do what the original plan was anyway. Realm Walker named Cat. What? Oh, right. Now I see. I've right in it. That was weird, but I understand what happened. I can actually destroy that containment thing, can't I? Get the fuck out of here. Very nice. Ah, this goofy shit. Yeah, sure, why not? Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Minimus containment. I would like my sovereign back, please. We'll go ahead and get rid of their Gianni. They can block, but help them. Admittedly, they're going to get another life out of their Abiding Grace, which is fantastic. But we're not, like, actively bad. It's not awesome. It's just not. It's got to be a little degree of honest with that one. It's when Packleer attacks, right? Now, you don't have rule 3. Return a creature card from graveyard. You don't have any creatures in the graveyard, so there's no point in you doing that next turn. So I guess we can just do a couple Packleers here. Then I think we just no attack it and just wait. If he chooses to attack with it, then that's fine. Next turn we can attack with our dog army here and be largely okay. We do have another Night of Autumn, so we can get rid of their borrowed time. Kinda sucks. Okay, actually, maybe we just don't care. And kinda just leave that one be. Yeah, that's a thing. That's kinda good. Yeah, actually, in that case, we'll Feline Sovereign here. We don't really have that much to do with this. Can't attack freely, so we'll go ahead and Pride Sovereign and make some cats here. Attack with all of our dogs, and thanks to the pack leader abilities, they can attack for free. See what our opponent decides to block where. Does let what I would argue the wrong thing through. So in that case, we can go ahead. I guess now we can get rid of the borrowed time. We let the Realm Walker through, which allows the Sovereign to kill artifacts and enchantments. Because we all know cats have an affinity for knocking shit off counters. Okay. Untap a tapped creature. That, why would you want Vigilance creature? I mean, I get in the Soul Sisters why you would want Speaker of the Heavens. Oh, that's okay. That's the thing. It's not fantastic. guess we do kind of need to get rid of that. Okay, that was fine. Our opponent totally had an out there. They could have 100% won that and been in game number 3 and kind of gotten through that. Oh well, though. I mean, I suppose we'll take it. We're not too picky. Thank you all for watching. That was Cat Dog Tribal. Remember to like the video if you actually liked it, and sub if you like my weird grab bag of content and would like to see more. Thank you all, and remember, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together.